You think Common Ground is worth a buck? Consider leaving a tip at lptv.org. Lakeland Public Television presents Common Ground, brought to you by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.
One of the stereotypes that bugs me is that the stereotype of the drunken Indian. That gets me a lot, because a lot of people they assume that a large percentage of natives are just drunken Indians, but they don't really. And they're like every culture, we have people that struggle with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what a lot of people don't realize is how they got to be there, and it's like, this started in a time, it's a cycle. That's a negative cycle that's perpetuated. And alcoholism is a negative thing, but it started because, you got to think at a time when we were considered less than men, less than humans. Mm-hmm. And it's like the oppressor or the people in charge were like, okay, well, you got to be this way. You got to think this way. You got to take your culture away. We're going to take your culture away. You got to go to boarding school. You got to think like us and obey the laws. And so there's people that didn't want to do that. And if you didn't do that, you weren't able to do what you wanted to do. You weren't able to do your ceremonies. You weren't able to do your cultural things. You weren't able to just be native and live in a tribal way of life, So those people, they say, okay, well, if you're not going to let me be who I am, I'm not going to be who you want me to be. I'm just going to go through the motions and just be nothing,
Mm-hmm.
just drink, So because, they had let those alcoholics walk around, and it's they're not going to throw them in jail, because that's, they're not going to do nothing. A few of them they did, but it's like you just let them waste their life away, and that's good enough for the system mm-hmm. to progress. So I think that has had a lot of influence. So I think in a way, the drunken Indian is there's a negativity there, but at the same time, it's like, through them, that's how they chose to resist, and that's a negative way. It's the lesser of two evils, really.
Yeah, and we have, and it fits perfectly into an intellectual model that America has, and that back when the Europeans first came to America, they carried with them, inside of them, both Rousseau's noble savage, the man of nature. The unspoiled man of nature, and the devil, the savage, the heathen, the terrifying heathen. So you had the noble, enlightened Indian and the terrifying, force of darkness. Well, you roll that forward to the contemporary situation, and it's okay. That's easy. We've got wise men and wise women who will dispense their spiritual wisdom. And then we've also got the drunks and just layabout casino scamsters. And so there's this dichotomy. You've got that in the middle is where people live. It's where mom and dad are trying to get enough gas for the car, and they're trying to raise the kids right, and they're trying to put together a decent family, and they're laughing and watching TV and going out and going to ceremonies and getting together and doing a lot of wonderful mm-hmm. things that we don't even see. The idea of a broader family, the way that the native people embrace this broader notion of family, the way that the grandmas and are respected, the giveaway, the whole tradition of the giveaways, the wopula, and I don't know what it would be in your tribe, but every tribe has that the giveaway tradition. Yeah, all of these things, they live right in the middle. They live right in the middle between these two stereotypes. And boy, we're quick to say, you got that one bunch of people, or the beads and braids people, are going out and saying, oh, the Indians are so wonderful, so much spiritual stuff. And there's always an Indian out there who's willing to sell it back to them. And then you got the other side of, they're all a bunch of drunks, and they're all getting $1 million a year free money. And And then we can go to sleep because we don't have to think any further than that, because we've got this whole history of this dichotomy, and we can slide right into it, and then we don't have to think about Indians anymore. We can go think about other stuff. And one of the fun things about living up here, or living here, is you can't avoid the native reality. You get to deal with it every day. And I like that, because this land is, both this land physically and the land around here, you feel the native heartbeat in this land. It hasn't been all paved over. I mean, I've gone in and tried to talk and give talks in Chicago or something, and I say, man, I can't do this, because they can't hear below, below the surface of just Mayor Daley and the Chicago fire and whatever the cultural aspects of Chicago are. It's tarred over, literally and figuratively. But you get up here and you realize, if you got half a heart, you realize you're still walking on native land. You're still walking on Ojibwe land. And we're surrounded by, we've got the Red Lake to the north, White Earth to the west, and Leech Lake to the east. And this is just a little spot in the middle. And if you listen closely, I mean, I love to drive out around the land here and just listen to the land, listen to the sounds, listen to the sort of the pulsations and heartbeat of the land, and you know you're on native land. And that's a real gift, to be able to live around here and have that experience. And a lot of people don't have it. And so it's fun, and it's fun to be able to hand it over to people. I mean, it's easy to market the mythology of living in northern Minnesota as a writer. You can put on your plaid shirt and go out there and play loons and canoes and Paul Bunyan. But that's stupid. I mean, I suppose it's fine. But
the stereotypes, the lovely stereotypes.
The lovely stereotype, because that's a good stereotype.
Yeah.
And people don't want the bad stereotype of a whole bunch of people living in trailers on food stamps either.
Yeah, no.
But
of course
what
not.
you have here is a land that it beats with the seasons, and it has rhythms and beauty and sounds that are native in their origin. And they're in the native songs, they're in the native way of dealing with things, the silences, the way of people dealing with conflict. Everyone can always recede into the woods. So it's just everywhere. It's pervasive, but you've got to be willing to listen.
Well, that, and it's like